Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the podcast, episode 2. Before we get into it, I do want to say thanks to the entire Neebs gaming community for all the support I got on the hot dog runner video. It means a lot. You guys are awesome. Thanks for all the comments and all the new subs. Hello everybody. Also, I want to thank Neebs and crew for the shout out they gave me during their live stream recently. Very cool. That video, hot dog runner just did so well, and you guys are awesome for all the support on that. So if you haven't seen hot dog runner, go check it out. It's on the channel. The other night I was also in the Neebs gaming live stream, and I hopped in on some co-op play with Appsro and a few other people from the community in a game called Fumes. So I'm going to throw some of that up on the screen. We're going to have a lot of random footage throughout this podcast playing for you, but I am going to throw up some of that footage. This is just random play, and you'll see the name Neebs on the screen a lot, but that was Appsro I was playing with. We were playing on a team, and it was a fun game. If you haven't played Fumes, check it out. It's kind of like Twisted Metal a little bit, but a little more open world. Pretty fun. So check that out, and you're going to see some of that on the screen, even though we don't talk about it. So, and there are nods to the Neebs community later in the podcast. We do have a little bit of Neebs conversation in this podcast later on. So, little disclaimer: this podcast was actually recorded on June 28th. That was 3 days before. Not only was that 2 weeks before this comes out, but that was also 3 days before Sony announced they were basically killing physical media. You know, hindsight's 2020. If only we had known. But this was recorded 3 days before that. We don't know in the conversation that they're about to announce that. Yet a lot of our conversation is about physical media and the importance of physical media and all these other things going on. So I think this podcast is going to be an interesting listen because you could see how passionate we were before hearing that Sony was killing physical media in 2028. So I just wanted to say this whole podcast was, again, recorded before. Just so many things happened since this was recorded. And I just felt like you guys maybe kind of needed a little bit of a disclaimer on the podcast. We hope to record them closer to release date in the future and maybe closer to 1 hour time frame, but we just let this one be what it was, being the first big full podcast episode. So it's a long podcast, but that's what we're hoping to try and do. Maybe closer to 1 hour in the future. This one turned out to be 2 hours, but we just let it breathe however naturally it was. It was a real conversation between me and Bobcat, and we just cut it down and made it into what you're going to listen to. So, and hopefully this is a good, healthy start off point for the future of the Thirsty Gamecast. So if you're not sub, please sub and give us a like and all those things. It really does help us grow the channel, and that way we can do more of these things for you guys. So thank you guys for listening this far, and I hope you listen to the end. I think we have some fun conversation for you guys. Man, you're awesome. We really do appreciate you. So stick around. We got a lot of conversation ahead. Welcome to Thirsty Gamecast, episode 2. We're doing it. We're finally doing this. The second episode. The actual first real episode. I'm your host, Thirsty Joe, and with me, as always, is...
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi, this guy.
I'm this guy.
I tried to cue you up. I tried to cue you up with as always, is this guy, and I pointed at him, and he's like, hey. So... Thirsty Matt, or what are you going by these days? Bobcat or Blue, or you've had many
Thirsty Matt
works.
Matt works. Solid Bobcat. That's another one.
Solid Bob Matt.
Blue's one that people might know.
Blue, yeah. TJG Blue, Thirsty Matt, Solid Bobcat, Solid Bob Matt. You have all these aliases. You're like a legend that came before, like Bonnie and Clyde or something, with all these aliases, right? All these gaming aliases. I assume that you've probably won gaming tournaments in like some specific niche game. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to walk away into the sunset and go start a new career under a new gamer tag and take over some other game. Is that what you do?
No. Nothing that cool. I'm just indecisive.
Okay, yeah, that's me too. I used to have a lot of fun, goofy names too. Thirsty Joe I've held on to for almost actually 15 years now, but before that, I used to have all kinds of goofy names because I used to play Counter-Strike under the name Penguin. That was way before Moist Critical had the name Penguin. I was doing Penguin back in like early 2000s, like high school. And then I would do, I had a gamer tag I used. I always liked this one called the Speedy Carrot.
The Speedy Carrot's a good one.
That's a good name, isn't it? I haven't used it in 20 years, but yeah. I should bring back Speedy Carrot sometime.
You're going to have to lock it down before everybody else does now.
Yeah, someone can steal it from me now. Speedy Carrot, I always thought that's a pretty cool name. I probably would have done better with this YouTube channel if I'd have picked that name, but here we are. So yeah, this is Thirsty Gamecast episode 2. Episode 1, we kind of just stumbled into before one of our gaming sessions. So we decided to start doing it more regularly. It'll probably be a monthly thing, but we don't really know right now. I've got a lot of topics and things I wanted to talk to you about.
Okay.
Matt, a lot of things I've been like saving for the podcast that I probably would have brought up otherwise, like gaming news, a little bit of this and that. But
I haven't been keeping up with anything, so this would be a good time to talk about it.
That's good. I like to get your real honest reactions to things. So there's going to be stuff that you're going to be like, what? And then other things you're going to be like, no way. And then some things you're going to be like, oh, that's awesome. And then some things, it's a whole range of emotions that we're going to go through on this roller coaster ride today. So, remember when I wasn't recording? You haven't got to see the final edit yet?
Oh, no. I haven't seen it since you've done all the ADR work.
Yep. So it was just a few lines at the very beginning. You could hear what I was saying, but my mic wasn't recording. So the choice would have been keep the original audio from the background of Matt's microphone or re-record my lines. So I just re-recorded my lines. It was only like a couple sentences, first few things I say in that playthrough. But I did sneak in one little funny extra moment, because when they get on the elevator and it's like right when we, I think, are kind of establishing, before we even establish who's going to be which character, it shows both the characters meet each other on an elevator, and she's all asking like, oh, what kind of stories do you write? And she goes, sci-fi. And there's just the part where she goes, oh, sci-fi. And then, so I just, for some reason, I think there was too long of a gap where we weren't talking in the episode. So I just did add this little bit where I said, oh, sci-fi, like all sarcastic about it, like sci-fi. I added that. That's the only thing I added that wasn't what we actually said. So I try not to I could if we wanted, if we were doing a real cinematic series, like our old Ark playthroughs, we used to re-record audio a lot on that stuff too. So, if the edit requires it, we'll do it.
What does ADR mean?
What is the actual terminology?
I always just call it voiceover.
Dialogue, re-record, or add. I don't know. We need to look that up now. How about this? We don't look it up, but the first person to tell us what ADR stands for in the comments, you get thirsty brownie points. Those don't exist. They're not real, but you're going to earn some today. And then we're not going to look that up because that just seems like a lot of work. But ADR is basically the practice of just like laying audio in like over pre-recorded video. So like when in the movies, when they record their scenes, the audio often sometimes, it's usually unusable. Like it's most often not going to be the audio they actually spoke during that moment, and they just have them re-record their lines in a studio later. So same shit, but I don't know what it means.
I've always wondered, never known.
Always, yeah. Sometimes it's good to just keep wondering and never know things. You know what I mean?
That's mostly what I do.
We know what it does. We know its function. We don't need to know where it came. Words.
They're hard.
One of the biggest things right now, and by the time this podcast actually gets posted, which it'll probably be a couple of weeks from now, so this may not even be pertinent information. I mean, it still is going to be. The Steam Machine is, I know you've heard of it. Obviously, you know very well of the Steam Deck, being a previous Steam Deck owner. But the Steam Machine, what have you heard about it?
I've seen its rough shape, what it's kind of going to look like.
The GameCube.
I know that it exists. I know that it has USB ports. That's it.
And the Steam controller.
I know that there was one before, and they were talking about doing another one.
To me, that's one of the most exciting things about it.
Nothing about the controller.
Yeah, the Steam controller is cool because it has the track pads. And so, like, if you especially for emulation or just any game that's going to use like the mouse, or a good touch, it's just nice to have that touchpad for more functionality in a controller. And I think that's one of the things I really want.
I did really like the trackpads, the touchpads on the Steam Deck.
Yeah. So I
like typing with them.
Yeah. See, so it's kind of taking that functionality of the Steam Deck with having those pads and and putting it into a typical controller form, like a Bluetooth wireless controller form. And I think that is awesome. I really want one of those at some point for my own gaming. But you and I probably aren't the target market for a Steam machine.
No.
Its specs aren't something that's going to make us jump right at it, because we both have gaming, PCs that can handle, more than the Steam machine is going to be able to, right?
Oh yeah.
So we already weren't looking at it for its specs, but it's a nice midpoint between a console and a PC gaming, right? It's bringing PC gaming a little bit to console couches and being able to have that experience.
I kind of want one to put in my living room.
See, exactly.
To just have on my living room TV, so I don't have to have my big dumb computer in there.
Exactly. It's a pain in the butt to have to kind of stretch that stuff around, and you got your cables, and having something.
And it's loud.
And how easy is it to just put your game in suspend mode as you go to sleep, and then you just come up and push a button and it comes back on?
Yeah, this can be nice.
That's what the Steam machine does
pause.
offer. And Steam Deck kind of does that too, but mine tends to give me problems with that. It worked for a while, and right now it doesn't. I can't get it to ever load up like that. But I mean, sleep mode works, and I'm pausing a game, but I mean doing it from the controller, like where you power on the console from the controller, and it just is right back where you stopped gaming. That's amazing. And the Nintendo Switch does that really well too, I remember. But Steam Machine has some things going for it, but everybody was concerned about the price. And everybody was speculating what the price would be. And we found out this week what the price was. And I'm just curious what your reaction to the pricing is going to be. And I have already actually put out on the channel a short where I was kind of reacting. It was actually the whole old Joe Exotic thing that I'll never financially recover from this. It was that.
I haven't seen anything about the price. I haven't heard anything about the price. I'm assuming from the build-up, it's going to be expensive.
I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to pull it up for you. Yeah, I would rather pull it up here. Actually, I know I already had downloaded. I had an image that showed this, but it thinks this is an actual steaming machine I'm looking up, for like steaming your laundry or some shit or your house. Okay. Here, there's a certain chart I was looking for. Why am I not seeing it?
Look at the chin on that controller.
Yeah, now, first of all, look at this. That is beautiful to me.
It looks like the Duke.
I want that controller so bad. So I will say, I like the game. I really actually like the design because it reminds me a little bit of a GameCube, obviously, and that's why they call it the GameCube, I think. But it's just... I love the controllers, but the machine itself, I'm not as interested in for a few reasons, and we'll get to that. But I'll just play the short for you as well. Here we go. How about this? Here's the short. Hold up. The Steam machine cost how much?
I am never going to financially recover from this.
Okay, that's all it was. Here it is. Look at these prices.
That's fucking stupid.
Who wants to play that for a console? Why would you not just buy a PS5? Because the PS5 actually outperforms it in many ways. So it's like, why would you? I mean, at this point, they're learning how to put fucking Linux and Steam operating systems on a PS5. If you really want to like go down certain routes to like modify your console. So it's just like, why would
I could build a computer? I could build a tiny computer for less than that.
Yes. That's what most people are going to do. Most people are going to build their own Steam machine. When they see this, they're going to go, no.
Yeah, no. Steam. The answer is no. Just like the Steam Deck OLED, no.
Now, think about this. If you want that controller, just one controller, you're talking about a console that with one controller, only 512 gigabytes. That's the bottom line. Entry level for the console is $1,128.
Why is 512 gigabytes even an option for gaming? Because you can only fit like 1.5 games.
Yeah, the games are getting so big. I mean, you could fit more games, but your shit's it's going to run poorly, right? You're going to bog down your system, putting just a couple games, you're going to be full. And so most people are going to have to opt for the 2 terabyte unless they're modifying a 512 to add additional storage to.
I'm not paying over $1,000 for something I'm immediately going to have to modify and void the warranty. possibly.
Yep.
Or have problems with the warranty if something comes up.
So anyone really, let's be honest about this, they're going to get the Steam Machine 2 terabyte. But look at that price point. That's not all the way. That's not even as much. They chose, for some reason, I don't know what is up with this graphic, but if you notice, it's like they didn't finish their work and they just put it out to press. They don't have 3 different pricing tiers. They have 2 tiers represented, the same tier represented twice, left and right, and then the 512 in the middle. I don't know why they did that. It's just that's just poor reporting. But regardless, yeah, both of these are the same for some reason. But so we're looking at this 2 terabyte. Notice one thing about it compared to this one. That price point doesn't even come with a controller. So you're actually, if you look up here somewhere, look, for $1,428 with a controller. You just really think about paying $1,400 for a gaming console. That's it, a gaming console that struggles to do 4K 60 frames, and that's a whole nother topic about it. But they
so you could spend like a little bit more than that. Okay, so we're not talking about RAM right now. That's stupid. We're just not talking about it.
Well, we are going to talk about it. But that is part of the reason this price is that way. They wanted, from what everybody is guesstimating or what the speculation is, they thought that the Steam Machine was probably, if it had come out last year, let's say, summer of 2025, this thing would have probably been able to drop at $750. But because of the rise in RAM and memory and storage, it's gotten so crazy because of AI. That's at least a good part of why it's this price now, apparently.
That makes sense.
It does make sense. So then it sucks because you have, on one hand, a console, and I like seeing Steam succeed, like a Valve succeed with Steam. And the Steam Deck, I love it, and I wanted this thing to succeed. The problem is it's dead on arrival, and it's going to be dead on arrival to most people. The only people that are going to buy this thing is YouTubers trying to review it, and the people who have way too much money to get rid of, because otherwise you would buy something that can outperform this for less money and probably have a little more customization to it, honestly. Again, I would buy a controller separately, which is probably what I'll end up doing in the future, buying 1 or 2 of those controllers just for my Steam Deck and my laptop and gaming, setup. But
I may get a controller, but I'm definitely not getting a $1,300 Steam Machine.
Yeah. I don't understand it. So, and that's the other thing is apparently a lot, and we won't go too far in the weeds about it because we've been on the topic for a minute, but apparently it's not really even performing quite as well as they wanted. You know what I mean? There's certain, they probably pushed certain things to get those numbers of 4K 60. That's really at such a low setting that no one would really ever play it at that setting, but they're promoting it as 4K, 60 frames. You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember. I think I heard Linus Tech Tips YouTube channel going into his review about it. And, again, it sucks because
I don't want it if it looks like garbage.
Yes. But at the same time, when Nintendo comes out with and this is going to roll into other topics, but when Nintendo comes out with the Switch 2 and Mario Kart 8 and it's $80, and this is leading into some other things, but games becoming $80 and up for a single game, right? And you've got console, and of course the way they're pushing out physical and everything's becoming all digital, right? Steam is one of the few times where I'm like, okay, I like that even though this company doesn't have physical, I fully embrace them in the way they do everything else, because everything else is so open-ended and generally fairly consumer friendly, right? And indie game developer friendly. So, there's a lot of things I like about them. And it sucks that when they started building the Steam Machine and doing all the specs and thinking about how to market it and get it ready for everybody, we know they took a loss on the Steam Deck to get it to people. They knew they'd make money on the Steam games, so they sold it at a loss. It was what do they call that term? It's a
loss leader.
A loss leader. Exactly. They knew that would be a loss leader that that would propel them for future growth, including leading into the Steam Machine. But now the Steam Machine is going to flop just because like memory is going to get this expensive.
Just for shits and giggles yesterday, I looked up how much it would be to double my RAM, which would be 128 gigabytes of DDR5.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much it was on Newegg?
128 gigabytes?
Yeah.
Huh.
$3,000.
So you could just, that's what you, but you can buy a new PC altogether for
That's
that.
more than my computer's worth.
What
the whole computer?
That's
with
insane.
the RAM in it and with the RAM in it that I bought and everything.
Well, I mean, you know, I had that solid state drive for the Steam Deck, and I had it crashed, and I completely lost the solid state. And this is a 4 terabyte solid state, and I looked that fucker up, and it is like doubled in price since last year. It's like I looked it up a month and a half, 2 months ago, or a couple months ago when it crashed. I'm afraid to look it up now because I won't be replacing that anytime soon. It was a lot of money when I bought it at $350, $400 that was on sale or whatever. And I was like, wow, you know, at that time, it was like, this is worth it. I'm building my ultimate little gaming machine. So this drive, even if I don't always use it in the Steam Deck, I can maybe use this drive somewhere else, whatever it is. It's 4 terabytes of storage that I know I'll be grateful to have, right? You make the investment, and within a year, the solid state, all good technology, I have spinning drives that have outlasted like family members. Like what is going on? How is that possible that a solid state that's supposed to be like some of the better top of the line things will crash that? And I think it's not just, I'm hearing it's more frequent.
It's because the tech industry has become an arms race.
Yes.
So everybody's just trying to kick shit out as fast as possible, and it's fucking cheap. It's like cars too. Yeah. All these fucking recalls and shit on the new cars.
And I think that's a good analogy that the cars and the automotive industry too, and just everything. I mean, everything has gotten cheap. That old saying, and it makes me feel old, but that old saying of they don't make them like they used to, you know, like that shit.
They really don't.
Yeah, they really don't. And
they're rolling turds just waiting to fall apart at the first chance you give them.
And honestly, you want to talk rolling turds is exactly how I use to describe the Nintendo Switch's controllers. And one of the many reasons
I like the Switch Pro style.
But the problem is, and it really, I want you to wrap your head around this. Now, I don't have a Switch 2, and there's plenty of people who probably love their Switch 2, and I'd love to be able to like play some of the games on that network, but I've just not taken the dive because I loved my Switch 1. But then when I got a Steam Deck, it kind of changed some things for me. But specifically, the Switch 2, I didn't like some of the anti-consumer things I was seeing Nintendo do. Of course, they've always done this kind of stuff, but just the lead to anti-physical, kind of practices. But and the game key card thing seemed just so stupid to me. And I get why people would embrace it because at the end of the day, if you want to play the new Mario Kart with your friends, that's the only way to do it. But I'm not going to pay $80 for a new game. And from what I understand, most people prefer Mario Kart 8, or a lot of people do, over World, even the ones that are kind of like Nintendo butt kissers, you know, just being honest. I mean, and I grew up a Nintendo kid too. I love Mario Kart, but I couldn't take the dive with the Switch 2 for similar reasons. To the Steam Machine, yeah, I felt like it was overpriced for what they were giving me. I felt like it wasn't performing and hitting the benchmarks that they tried to make it out to be before it hit the market. These same kind of things, but this is a whole other deal. This is like pricing we've never seen for a console, albeit it's half PC. When we know we can build our own, everybody's going to be, there's already a million videos out there. Here's how to save the money and build your own Steam machine. There's tons of YouTube videos doing it already. Like this thing is going to be dead on arrival. And I hate that for Valve actually. And in most instances, you'd be like, oh, it serves them right. But I don't think they chose this price point. I feel like they got stuck to it because of their prior commitments.
That makes sense.
And that sucks. But it is what it is. I mean, you're not going to sell them.
That's a large price tag, about double what I was wanting to spend on one.
Exactly. So I think for now we'll, maybe this will push us to do what we were going to do and just build our own arcade cabinet.
Yeah.
And
you don't even have to have fucking new parts for that.
Because for that price, we could do it. And then you have an arcade.
We could do 2.
I mean, if we really want, I mean, I want to do one like all in though. I want to do one with like good components, like really the best components, 4-player. I want light gun functionality. I want pinball bumpers on the side. I want good Bluetooth speakers that if I've got my friends hanging out, they can Bluetooth to the speakers instead if you wanted. I want, of course, to build the big retro arch kind of like emulation station thing I did with the Steam Deck and just make a nice retro arcade cabinet.
Something like that might close in on $1,500.
Like the Steam machine. The one we would buy with 2 terabyte and 1 controller would be $1,428. You know that we would go for that tier if we were trying to buy this, actually. Right?
Yeah, but
so that same price, take it and put it towards an arcade.
Yeah, building that arcade cabinet, you get so much more functionality out of it, though.
Exactly.
So that Steam machine, so unfortunately,
there's like 8-year-old videos on YouTube on how to do this. Like now, like, yeah, there's blueprints on how to, you know, if you really, now you can either do DIY, but honestly, I swear there is you don't even have to build it. I mean, it is kind of it comes like a kit, almost like IKEA or some shit.
Flat pack.
Yeah. Like you get so you get the pre-cut wood, like the compressed wood or whatever panels, and you know it's not like the cheap plywood that falls apart, you know, like for instance the arcade 1-ups. Okay, I had several of them. I had a little arcade 1-ups at one point, but these are a little closer to real arcade construction quality, where it's not as cheap particle wood. It's actually like compressed wood. You know what I mean? The difference in those panels, and then, you know, just a little bit better finish and quality like a real arcade would be, but with all the new modern bells and whistles. And it's pretty much like it comes with everything you need and you just like assemble it. Like you can cool. Order from the website, like, and it has a lot of options. And some of the top tier, like if you wanted everything 4-player, like going all out kind of options, I mean, you're looking at the same price as the Steam machine. That's insane to me.
Yeah, I'm voting arcade cabinet.
Right? I think we should do that. That'd be sick. And we can make a video about it. Like the building process, put it on the channel. That'd be cool. So, yeah, if anybody wants us to go that route and try to do our own DIY cabinet, like let us know. Let us know what you guys would do. Are any of you guys buying the Steam machine? Are any of you guys spending over $1,000 on a console? Let us know. But yeah, I'm just curious. You know, like I said, it reminded me of some of the Nintendo Switch stuff, and you know, staying away from Nintendo Switch 2. But this is going to lead into something else. Matt, are you ready for this?
Huh?
Have you heard any of the latest news with GTA, like GTA 6?
Haven't heard anything.
So GTA 6, I'm pretty sure the price point of it is 80 to 100. Like if you want like the real, like the full edition, you know, every game's got to have like an entry edition and then like the badass edition. The badass edition's $100.
That's kind of what I expected. Actually, a little bit less.
Let's look it up. Let's make sure I'm not incorrect on this. This just came out this week.
I was assuming the full complete everything edition would be like 150.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, collector's editions, I'm sure will get way up there. Let's look. I'm just saying entry level prices.
I just mean the best you can get on Steam I was assuming it would be about $150.
Pre-orders for GTA 6 launch at midnight local time on June 25th. The Ultimate Edition and pre-order bonuses already detailed. GTA 6 physical copies do not include a Did I just read that right? GTA 6 physical copies do not include a disc. So that's not physical. It's still digital. Rockstar has confirmed. They're just a code in a box. Oh my God. I didn't know this.
Why even release it physical then?
Exactly. Then it's just landfill, additions to landfill. It's just garbage. It's just wasted plastic. These codes in a box bullshit should be outlawed. Right?
Yeah, it's deceptive.
That is. I like how they still call it a physical copy. How?
I've got something physical for them.
Yeah, I bet, man. I bet.
It's tea bags.
Rockstar
I'm
is
fucking 1v1 me, Rockstar.
Rockstar is finally pulling back the curtain on GTA 6 as it nears launch. Alongside the Ultimate Edition and pre-order bonus announcement is a significant GTA 6 screenshot release showing more of the game. We also have official GTA 6 cover art and the fresh look at Vice City. Now, I do want to look at these two things. This is cool, the cover art and the fresh look, and it gave me an idea when I saw the cover art or something. But okay, here's the cover art. You can kind of see it. It looks like any other GTA.
Yep.
Pretty much. I like the little flamingo, and of course, it's going to have the alligator being in Florida.
I like it's kind of the San Andreas color scheme.
It is, but it's very much going to be more of a Vice City. It kind of reminds me of the Vice City, too.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Vice City.
Yeah, because it is. It's supposed to be in Vice City, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've
heard absolutely nothing about this game.
That's awesome. So it literally is Vice City. So you've actually not even seen the GTA.
No.
Man,
I wasn't expecting to buy it at launch, so I haven't been watching anything.
So yeah, you still don't want to watch the trailer, or would you want to watch the trailer on the podcast?
I don't care.
Let's watch the trailer on the podcast because we'll see. You know what? I only saw it once.
It says code in the box.
It'd be nice to be reminded of it because like everyone's going to play this game. That's the thing.
I'll play it eventually.
I'm just
not buying it at launch.
You and I are patient gamers.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring this up and it is, I guess, a good segue for it. Being a patient gamer pays off. I have a wish list full of Steam games that I can't afford. But one day, sometimes it's a flash sale, but one day that game I can't afford when it goes on sale for 90% off. And so I wait patiently until the day it does that. I don't buy GTA 6 the day it comes out. Now, if my channel was like exploding and I knew, there might be like an actual like benefit, for the channel to be posting about a game right when it comes out, maybe I would buy it the day it comes out.
Yeah.
I have to really be into a game to want to do that. A few games I've done that with, but I have to really, really be into a game to buy it the day of. Otherwise, I'm going to wait and I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait because I have a backlog of so many games. I have so many games I enjoy to play. Like I could not buy another game and I'm content for the rest of my life. Like there's so many games that already exist. I don't always have to be playing the next big thing. So I think you kind of feel similarly, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, if I buy a game, it's either because I got a really good bonus check or it went on fire sale.
Yeah. Like the Steam sales are amazing.
Yes.
And
there's 4 of them every year.
Yep. I find myself making 4 big game purchases a year. Yeah. And it's usually the spring, winter, summer, and fall sales. And speaking of, they've got I think the summer one going on right now over on Steam. Yep, the summer sale. It's good till by the time this podcast comes out, the summer sale won't be up anymore. But it's look at this. Red Dead Redemption 2 goes from $60 to $15.
Yeah, I'll spend $15 on that game. I've already got it. I haven't played it yet, but I would spend
right. I probably should, but I
spent $15 on it the last big sale.
I probably Oh, then I have it probably from your like Steam friends share library. Like I've got it because you have it, but it shows where it's on my wish list. But like I had it on PS5 and I guess I never got it on Steam yet personally, but probably because I can install your version. Look at this. I'll go over here to my wish list and just look at some of these. And it's like, look at this.
Oh, dude, look at that. The fucking Mass Effect Legendary Edition. That's all of the games for $5.
Every Mass Effect game for $5. The reviews are very positive. Sometimes you want to look at that because
I played it on Steam Deck before I gave it to you.
Hell yeah. I never played the Mass Effect games and I always plan to. Isn't the main character Colonel Shepard?
I can't remember.
I think the character's name is Colonel Shepard, which I always found funny because that's the character's name in Stargate Atlantis. But Need for Speed, the Need for Speed games are great. Looks like the reviews are mixed on this game. And I always look at that because sometimes a port from a console game can actually be done poorly enough that the reviews aren't good for it. So you do sometimes want to look at like, hey, why is this game discounted? But most of the time with Steam, it's pretty easy to figure out what you got going. So if you're new to PC gaming or you only console game, this is a big reason why Steam moves Steam Decks and Steam machines and Valve moves this stuff because they have all you're not going to find Mario in here. Let's face it, but you're going to find so many great games and you're going to discover a lot of indie games.
They're fun games like Mario Kart style and Mario Party style
Yep.
on Steam. There are plenty of them that are great.
Plenty. Not only that, there are a lot of games. I mean, look at these deals. Look how many games are just 90% off during the summer sale.
Yeah.
So just
Awesome.
buy
Basically.
a bunch of, just don't spend $80 on one game. Spend $80 on 40 games in the summer.
Yeah, a bunch of indie games that go on fire sale. Just get them all.
I think that's the strategy of a patient gamer. And
Look at that Hogwarts Legacy for $9.
that's yeah, that's crazy.
That's
Remember?
a good game that I haven't gotten past the beginning because I'm bad.
Now, if you were a patient gamer, you could have been already playing something else you were patient about that you had just bought for $9 and not bought this when it came out. And then bought it now for
Also,
$9.
Guardians of the Galaxy for $9.
Yeah, this was fun too. I remember playing it. If I had this on physical, I want to say it was for the PS4 originally, but whatever it was, the physical version, if it doesn't get updated, you will get locked at the very beginning of the game of Guardians of the Galaxy. It's one of the physicals. You have to give it you have to connect and upload and actually, because the way I found this out is I was playing a PS4, but I didn't have the internet at the time. And I was playing the PS4 version of Guardians of the Galaxy, and you get like 10 minutes in, it's not very far, and you will get locked and can't go any further.
They did it on purpose?
I don't know if they did it on purpose. I don't think they did it on purpose.
Sounds like they did it on purpose.
I mean, they could have.
Or it's a very convenient bug.
The problem is you have a lot of convenient bugs when you release games at 80% completion. Games used to have to be done, and they were done forever when you released them. Mm-hmm. And now game developers, and I'm not just going to say like, because there's a lot of great developers that put in a lot of work and get pushed to crazy hours and up against insane like deadlines and time constraints that don't get to really execute the way that their vision planned or the work that they put in. So I'm not saying it's all like, laziness, but it's just the way the industry's gotten used to being, we can update and fix things later. And you make a bunch of big promises, and then you release a game like we're going to bring another segue here. But Halo, right? What were we talking about recently with the Halo campaign Evolved and some of what we were seeing there? It seemed like, well, if you're going to redo a game, like Combat Evolved, call it Campaign Evolved. So which they did. So we wouldn't be upset that we would know right out of the gate, there's no multiplayer, and be okay. They stripped that out of this remake. Okay. That they're really just milking for money. Cause let's face it.
Yep.
No one from the original team of Bungie is now there. Right. So they're milking this old IP. And what happens is not only do they take that functionality out, but then they take all this other functionality out too, apparently, where it's more like campaign devolved, because you can't even do theater mode or snapshots. You can't play split screen, not only on a PC. And this is what you and I were griping about, because you and I were excited to buy this, right?
Yeah.
Actually, you were really excited.
I was super hyped for it because I really wanted to do couch co-op.
Mm-hmm.
Just hang out and play some fucking Halo on one screen like we used to back in the day.
Which, on a technical issue, is very achievable, very easy. The original games did it. All games did it up to a certain point. And when you stop putting in that functionality, or let's put it this way, split screen does exist on the console versions, but on Steam, it doesn't even exist pretty much from what I understand.
Which is stupid because my computer definitely could do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing.
Most PCs could.
Yeah. Most PCs can have like 8 fucking Bluetooth controllers connect to it at once. Like you could, you know what I mean? Like it's just not a controller issue. And the games generally have programmed split screen functionality in there unless they get stripped out or weren't built in, originally for these modern games. But I mean, something like that, let's say, when you compare it to, from what we understood, the console version allowed the split screen functionality. The Steam version didn't. And you and I immediately was like, well, I guess we aren't going to get it now, because we weren't going to sign up for have to get an Xbox, do all the Xbox stuff.
No.
Right. Or even PlayStation stuff to do it, especially when you find out. And you and I were already like, okay, damn it. And it sucked because I saw the steam pull out of you. I saw you like your hype for it get dissipated immediately. And that sucked because I've been there. But I've also been the guy excited, and you share your Cinnamon's like, because when I saw the Switch 2 reveal, I remember texting you and being like, dude, all these games are coming to Switch 2, man. Switch 2 is going to be sick. Remember me doing that? And you're like, cool, man, cool. And then before Switch 2 hit market, I was already burned by their decisions. And I'm not saying there's not greatness with the Switch 2. One day, me being a patient gamer, one day I'll experience that and the great things they do have. But guess what? They lost my business due to their anti-consumer practices, and I chose to take my dollar elsewhere, which has mainly been Steam over the past couple of years. But I still game with all of it. I do have I keep my PS5 going. I like to play on it. That's where I'm playing eventually, my long going Elden Ring playthrough is the Hamerade, the hammer wielding samurai. And I've pretty much done most everything where I could go into the DLC if I want, but I got another battle or two I want to do before I do that. But that's all like personal. I don't do that. I don't do the Elden Ring. That playthrough of the Elden Ring is just me having fun, not recording it. Whenever I just kind of want to get in that mode. But Campaign evolved. We found out the PlayStation apparently does do the split screen, but it's not like Xbox or anything back in the day where a buddy could just use a guest account. They have to also have a PlayStation network or whatever account. You have to be a subscriber to the PlayStation network.
Oh, do you have to? Do you both have to have like the Plus account to play online or something?
Whatever it is, you have to pay for whatever the subscription model is. Yes. Which I have
so much more stupid than I thought. I was like, oh, okay, you can just make a free account and play.
No.
Not even connecting.
I don't think you can do a free account. I think you have to be a paid, because they lock multiplayer behind like online like functionality with paid services now. And I'm pretty sure that's how it's working. Now, look, quote me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. But
it's so easy to believe that because of all the other anti-consumer things happening everywhere else in the world.
Yeah, I'm hearing
or anti-regular person.
I think the motion to stop. I don't know. I need to look into it. The Stop Killing Games motion that came out of the UK that has a lot of steam and momentum to try to stop these kinds of things. I've heard somehow Ubisoft was actually able to like come out victorious and kind of shut that down recently. So I need to look more into that. Maybe we'll check that out some point, but I don't even want to like go too far down that. Like we're going to stop being on the depressing old man bitching about gaming part of the show, because we're going to move on to some fun parts of the podcast here. But I just wanted to touch on these topics because the news came out this week of both the Steam Machine thing and of the Halo thing. Some of the, pretty much everybody is pretty upset about the Halo thing. And that's also led into, I know you were a big, like Destiny fan.
Dude.
And Bungie.
Yeah.
Dropping the ball.
I just want Destiny 1. Just give me Destiny 1. I'll play it endlessly forever.
Now, here's your platform. Now's your chance, Matt. Tell them where they messed up. Tell them.
Bungie, I'm going to drag my nuts across your face if you don't get your shit together and just give me Destiny 1. That's all we want. Just give it to us.
And that's not...
And don't fuck it up like you did with Destiny 2.
Yeah. Now, that's not a legitimate physical threat. This is all,
No, I'll really do
allegedly, but he will drag his nuts across your face.
I'll find the company paperwork and the nuts are getting dragged across it. Technically, that company's face.
Well, speaking of that company, Bungie, not only have they killed Destiny 2 in order to pretty much run Marathon and destroy it as well, they just this week announced the layoff of half of their people. They just let go 400 people.
You know what? I think at this point that company just deserves to go out of business. Just let them go.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It sucks for all the people working there, but half of them just got the axe anyway, so the other half can go find better jobs elsewhere.
Here's the other problem. And here is something to be addressed about it. Some of these people who were game developers that put in a lot of time in their life to be game developers for Bungie, and it's not their fault, they just lost their job. Some of these people will never work in the gaming industry again. They will have to go to some other sector of job marketplace to pay their bills. and they will never make another video game again. And that's sad. So I
Yeah.
hope those that did just lose their job, I hope they can bounce back and find some great, awesome opportunity out of this.
I hope to see this as like a jumping off point for more people to do their own thing. Like all these projects that they've had on their own, like back shelf of the brain.
Yeah.
Working on other people's shit.
There you go. Any of those that got let go, start working on your projects. Let us play, send us demos of your game and we'll put it on our channel. We'll try it. We'll try it out. Let's see what you guys have been working on your own, because it's never been easier than now to make your own game. I've got ideas. I've told you some of my ideas, man. I got some gaming ideas. What kind of game would you make if you could make an amazing video game? Like what if you could?
I would find a way to rip off Destiny 1 as closely as possible without getting the absolute shit suit out of me.
Without them dragging their nuts across your face.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. You got to be the nut dragger. Yeah. You know what I would actually really love to see, and because the one I gave you a game idea yesterday that I would actually love to try to like make some kind of game based off this idea. So I'm not going to share that idea on the podcast, but one idea that I would love to see, and I think there's a version of it, but it never got completed, would be a real legit full game for Stargate. I'm talking like Stargate SG-1 era Stargate.
That would be so fucking
going
sick.
through the portals, discovering these worlds, being a member of this one of the other. You don't have to be a part of SG-1, or you could relive all those stories if you didn't mess up the stories. But to do it where like you got to go to Stargate Command and be there at the base, but also go through these portals and you get to adventure, and you get to like the story and time plays out. You may go to one world and have to deal with some wormhole or some black hole and the sun's falling apart. You go to another world and it's some underwater city that people that have survived breathing sulfur or some bullshit.
Have you ever played Star Citizen?
No, but I know of it.
I want Star Citizen, but Stargate SG-1.
Which one's Star Citizen? Is that the one that's like got a lot of money in it?
Yes.
Oh God.
That's one where you have to spend a bunch of money.
It's the one. Yeah. It's the biggest.
You definitely shouldn't have to. That's just developers needing a huge amount of money to keep developing the game.
Do you know how much money has been put into that game now?
God, I don't know.
I heard the number. This we'll look it up
Hundreds
in a second.
of millions probably.
Oh no. We'll confirm it here in a second. I heard it hit $1 billion.
Yeah, that's not
That's a
surprising
scam
at all.
That's a scam at this point, isn't it?
Dude, there's some ships on there that cost $10,000. Real money.
Wow.
The game's not even done yet.
we're gonna do the podcast like this. I like this better. I like where I can look at you, Matt, because it's weird if I'm looking this way, but we're talking. There we go.
Let me just.
Hold on. I'm gonna look at how much this is. Hold on.
We both know somebody that plays that game, and he brought me on a free fly weekend one time. And yeah, that game could potentially be a lot of fun if they would finish it and stop charging out the brown hole for it.
Let's see total funding for Star Citizen. $1 billion. I was right.
That's a
That's
lot.
fucked.
Not surprising though.
That is crazy. $1 billion for a game that's not done yet. I mean,
that's got to be a world record, like by a lot.
I don't
know. With so many like games that just stay in early access on Steam, who knows?
True. God, there's some games that do that for a long time. 7 Days had a long road to 1.0. It felt like, oh God, that's just wild to me. So your idea, well, I kind of stepped over your idea when I was talking, because I was just Star Citizen. You brought that up, and I want to make sure it was the game I was thinking of, the $1 billion not done game that people. So that's a game where people can choose to spend $5,000 on a digital ship, right? Like you
don't
real life
have
money,
to.
real life $5,000 for a digital asset in a game.
Yes, that they could take away at any point in time.
Look.
You don't have to spend that money on it, but you could like go in and build it up from nothing, like in the in-game economy. Mm-hmm. But it takes forever, and they do resets where they reset the server, and all that stuff goes away.
Yeah,
the only people that get to keep their stuff are the ones that have spent money.
The reason And here's my only gripe with something like that, because I get the idea of having a game that's so lived in that it's got real economies and real functionality and like all these real world mechanics and systems that are like fucking awesome. The thing I don't like about it is knowing that it's a video game in a digital world where people can fucking scam and steal.
Yeah.
And you got all this money involved, and it feels like things get funneled and people get stolen from probably way more frequently. Like, it's like the guy, like,
I mean, I'm sure it's prevalent.
I think
it's got to be.
And it's just the gotcha mechanics of modern gaming. You know what I mean? That just get me riled up. But you said you wanted a game that's Star Citizen and what? That's kind of like
Stargate.
And Stargate. Okay, yeah. So it'd be that vast?
Yeah. I want the parts of Star Citizen that are expansive and highly detailed and thought out. And I want their flight mechanics and all of the orbital mechanics and stuff like that. But I want it Stargate themed with Stargate ships.
Dude, so
Stargate characters.
So exactly. That sounds like an amazing game. I think we both want that game, actually. I just don't want people's money to get.
No, I don't want all of the money.
I like a game that
surrounding. No.
The thing is, I've always been a fan of the best treasures in a game need to be achieved through gameplay and accomplishment, not paid through someone feeling like, oh man, mom, can you buy this thing for me? And some people's parents have $5,000 to give their kid to buy the thing. Like if I've got the crazy armor set in Halo, I want to have earned it.
Yeah.
And that's some of the things I didn't like with Infinite, but every game feels like it has to be live service these days. And every game feels like it's got to be Fortnite, and it sucks.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that so much, especially for Halo. That's not why I want to play Halo. It's okay for me if Halo stays the same, because Halo's always stayed the same, and it's fine for a game. It doesn't have to be always evolving.
No, it doesn't. Someone else brought up the point in a video I watched earlier, and I think it may have been Mint Blitz or it may have been Sean Dubs, but it's one of the big Halo YouTubers, or at least guys I follow. And one of them had brought up the point. They were like, the part of the problem here too is that campaign evolved. Like, if you asked any actual real Halo fan and the people who have been like, just like never letting it go as we have since the old days. If you asked any of these Halo, like real Halo fans, like what would you want next for the Halo franchise? How many of them would say Combat Evolved, like the original one remastered? Like
zero. None of us want that.
Exactly. Nobody wants that. So first of all, it's already a game no one really asked for. The fans don't want.
I had already compromised so when I heard about that game, I was so let down that it came out, but I was like, I was trying to be positive because I thought it could be a stepping stone into the next real Halo game.
Yes.
But it's not. It's just another cash grab.
And that is the carrot they've been dangling, right?
Yeah.
Oh, look, we're going to do this. And then if it goes well, we'll give you guys what you really want. But first, we're going to cash in on something that already exists with nice new textures, HD textures, and, some modern game twists. And here's the other thing. Apparently, from what we're just going to keep ranting about the problems of it, but let's go. We're digging in because we're about to play some Cursed Halo today anyway, right? You saw I got Cursed Halo episode 2 ready. We're about to jump in and start recording episode 3 and 4 and all that. And what's going on with Halo bums us out. And that's why we're playing something like Cursed Halo, because we don't have new Halos to play. And
dude, Cursed Halo is so much fun.
It is fun. I will always
so
play
funny.
It. I can't wait for today's session. That will definitely have been out by the time this podcast comes out. The Halo episode 2 and 3 will be coming, relatively quickly. But, to get back to the root of it, like, nobody asked for that. No real fans did. If you asked a fan what they really wanted, if they had to have a remake, they'd ask for 3 probably. Like a Halo 3 remake if you had to. Yeah, it's a loud spicy car out there.
Grumpy.
But if you had to ask somebody what, like, if they had to remake one, they would probably want Halo 3, right? And
well, I don't know. I think at this point we want just something original and new.
We do. That's where I was getting at. You're right. I just meant if they had to get a remake. That's what I was saying. If
Kind
you
of over the
had to pick
remakes.
a remake, would you pick 3 or the first one, or what would you pick? I don't
I
want any of
wouldn't.
them. I'm just saying.
If Bungie or if 343 or Halo Industries, whatever they're called now, if they asked me what I wanted between Halo 2 and Halo 3 remake, I just wouldn't vote.
My point being, why did they pick 1? Because 1 seems like not the one that anybody would want. More fans would have wanted 3 or something, right? Because a lot of people love 3. Some people might want 2. I'm just saying,
It feels
it's
like
an odd choice.
It feels like a focus group came up with a good name, and they're like, "All right, we're just going to use this name as the jumping off point."
It should be called Campaign Devolved, because you have less functionality. You can't do the people are upset about the theater mode and all these things, and the pictures and all picture mode and all this stuff. And it's like, you should be able to offer a game. If you're going to redo a game, you should be able to offer that game with all of its original functionality and mechanics. And if anything, you've improved upon it. You've not taken away, you've improved. And what you have taken away should be highly regarded by everybody else in the community as that was a wise choice to remove that, because it was just bloat in the first place.
Yep.
But instead, because we live in the era of we can release games and they not even be done, and we'll just give updates later. We'll make them think multiplayer might be coming one day.
We're just hoping a fan base will be grateful for anything over nothing.
Yes.
Which is absolutely not how the Halo fan base works.
And that is the problem. And that perfect segue from what you just said, perfect segue out of Halo back over to Stargate and what's going on in the Stargate world, because you and I are big Stargate fans.
Yep. I love Stargate.
And if you're not a Stargate fan, you may not know this, but Stargate fandom is ablaze right now. We are all on fire after waiting 15 years or 14 years or whatever for anything to happen with our beloved favorite sci-fi franchise. And then 8 months ago, so back in October of 2025, Amazon announced, after buying MGM and everybody wondering what they would do with the franchise, they finally announced that they were greenlighting Martin Garrow's vision for Stargate. And Martin was one of the big main components. He was the showrunner for Stargate Atlantis, and one of the big components for why Stargate was a success in the past. And he was bringing back the old team, and everybody was very excited. The entire Stargate community was cheering and applauding Amazon for their brilliant move to not try to remake it a la Star, to change it into something it wasn't originally, like a lot of shows have started to do. A lot of our favorite franchises we see become something they never were, like Star Wars. And even, I know you were a fan of, what was it, Wheel of Time from Amazon? The original book, not the series they did, right?
Correct. I was a fan of the book, not the series.
No, I never watched it. What was the problems there? I never got to see that.
The whole thing. They rearranged events of the story.
Okay. Because you read the books.
I've read the books. Well, I need to continue with what Brandon Sanderson wrote.
Okay.
I'm up to that point. But yeah, the very first episode's all I've ever seen. And I think I've seen the first 15 minutes of it. And that's all it took.
Okay. If they start changing things they get you that upset that quick about it. Yeah.
Core things about characters. And
I've heard that complaint from other people too.
Yeah, like personality trait defining events have been changed and stuff like that. It's just like, this could be the greatest show on the earth, and I'm just never going to know about it because you've ruined it for me. Like, you don't have to, in my opinion, you don't have to copy the source material's story one to one. It doesn't have to be a literally only a format change to be good to me. But you have to be faithful to the source content. And they just disregarded it completely.
I think that's a really good point. And too often the source material gets thrown away in place of some new modern audience trying to be, sought after, and they don't show up.
Yeah. They're catering content to a new audience and completely forgetting about the pre-existing fan base, the super loyal pre-existing fan base that's salivating for something new.
One of the other Stargate YouTubers. I was listening to one of their videos and breaking down, and they put it perfectly. And I wish I could give the credit here, but I'd have to look and see. Maybe if I could put it on screen who said this, if I can figure it out. But they said there's been a lot of Stargate on YouTube. That's one thing I have loved. I've been finding all kinds of other Stargate people that like maybe I didn't follow before, and I've been clicking that subscribe when they post a good Stargate video. So keep those coming, community, because I'm loving that what's been the rally that's been happening. But basically, to catch anybody up that doesn't know, that what Amazon did is they recently announced, after bringing it back, everybody's excited, that they actually were now scrapping it. After all the writers spent 5 months in a writer's room writing everything, they were about to, in August, they were starting production. Like, they've spent many millions of dollars, and Amazon's going to spend several $million more to cancel this thing. And I'm just trying to bring it back to the point you made a little bit ago, that they think that an audience will show up just because they were fans. And that's not true. Case in point, and some Stargate fans, some of the Stargate community might not like me for this. I didn't watch Stargate Origins when it came out. I loved SG-1. I loved Atlantis. I loved Universe. Was a slow. It took me a minute because I didn't like the first season really, but by the time the second season came around, I was all for it, and I really want to know what happens with that story. And I think Martin Garrow's vision for the new Stargate was going to give us some answers, which would have been great. But the whole thing that when they announced that they were bringing Stargate back, they said, they made it a point to state that all the fans would be happy that the story is kept intact, that all the characters and the canon and the lore and everything that was so many years of building upon, that's not getting thrown in the garbage, that's going to be held up, and the story's going to continue. And from a modern viewpoint, a new starting point, jumping on point, right, in the timeline, but that everything would be honored, but that it would be written in such a way that you don't have to know any of the previous stuff. Mm-hmm. You can just hop in and you're good. You could get a few little details, like most shows should. If you're good at writing, you should be able to bring on new audiences anyway. And they could hop in and be like, oh, okay, so it sounds like they have some past rivalry with these Gold. Okay, well, whoa, what the hell? And then you're pulled in. Like, all it takes is one little thing to pull your attention somewhere. They can give you little sprinkles of the past story, and the fans could enjoy it. And I know Martin Garrow and his team, including Joseph Malazzi and some of the original writers and crew, that they were going to be able to pull this off, that they were going to be able to give something that honored the original that came before, but also new fans don't have to know anything that came before, and they can still jump on. I have a lot of faith that that's what they were doing. So when Amazon tells me they scrapped it, but they still might revisit the franchise at a later date with some completely new writer who's never been attached to the story to get some fresh perspective and start new on Stargate, I feel offended.
Yeah.
Because this decision apparently came from some young exec who just came over from Netflix and admittedly doesn't even really like Stargate or know of it, and just decided, oh, that thing you guys have all been working on, spent millions of dollars on, let's scrap that. And that's it. It just took a snap of the finger from this young exec, and it has the Stargate community just so enraged, and understandably. And you had, Daniel Jackson was always one of my favorite characters. I love his portrayal of the character and the way he went from James Spader's, portrayal of the character in the movie. And then he improved upon it, and he made me, love his timeline and way everything plays. Like, I just love Daniel Jackson's character. And the actor Michael Shanks he's rarely very, he stays engaged with the community generally, but he never has been quite as engaged as he is now since all of this happened, and pretty much like telling everyone, like, it's now or never. Like, if you want your Stargate, this is the only time to save it. And that's why, like, hashtags Save Stargate's going viral. And that's why you have the petitions to sign. There's a petition online that you and I have both signed, haven't we?
Yep, I signed it.
And we've recommended some of our other Stargate friends to sign it as well. And if you're a fan of Stargate, I highly recommend you go to this petition. We'll put the link in the description. To sign the petition if you're a fan to help save Stargate, because what they want to do is basically just come in and crap on everything that came before and then tell you this is what you're going to like. And you're going to like it because we put millions of dollars towards you liking it. And then what are they going to do? What did they do to, apparently I'm not a huge Star Trek guy or nothing. Never really got that into it, but they ruined it apparently with some of the new Stargate or Star Trek stuff they did. So it's like, are they just trying to ruin? Yeah. It feels like they're trying to ruin all the great sci-fi. Doctor Who got kind of screwed up too. So it's like, man, like, are they just trying to ruin all sci-fi?
Yeah. That's what it sounds like. That's what it feels like.
What a bummer.
Yeah. I just kind of want more dark matter now.
Indeed. If you have not, anyone listening, if you have not watched Dark Matter, go watch it. I love that show.
God, I can't wait till season 2 gets here. I just bought season 2 for way too much money.
Yeah, you got a good deal though. You definitely got it way cheaper than it goes for, but that's a price. That's a rare one. It's hard to find that. So good find. I have the first season, but it'll be probably a long time before I can find a season 2 at a price I can swallow. But Dark Matter was some of the same people, Joseph Malazzi and many of the same crew from Stargate. After Stargate got canceled, they made Dark Matter. And you have everyone from the actor that played Rodney McKay in Atlantis, David Hewlett, that's his name. He's in it. Amanda Tapping it as, ties to it. I think she even directed some episodes.
Oh, what's her name? In Atlantis, the leader. I can't remember her name.
Weir.
Yeah.
You're right.
Weir.
You're right. Yeah, she kind of played a bad guy, didn't she? Or I can't remember.
She was just the boss of a faction.
Oh, she was just a boss of one of the factions. That's right. He wasn't really a bad guy. She just kind of played a different kind of character for sure than Dr. Weir. So yeah, Dark Matter.
Not Commander Weir.
Commander Weir, you're right.
It was Doctor.
Doctor. That's what I said.
Yeah. I said Commander. You said Doctor.
Oh.
I was
That's awesome. If you can't tell, yes, this is a gaming channel, but our podcast gets to explore outside of gaming, and that's the fun. We get to share with you guys some of the other things we love, like Stargate and other movie franchises. We could go down that route. But, I just I think it's possible to get Amazon to reconsider. It's just it's going to be so difficult. Primarily, it seems
I don't know if I want them to now, though.
Well, no, I want the thing. Here's the thing. The banner was flown over Amazon's headquarters. The fans raised enough money to fly a plane over Amazon headquarters, pulling a banner behind it that said, # save Stargate. We want Martin Garrow. The fans want Martin Garrow. So they're making sure that it's not just, oh, we're fans of Stargate. You canceled it. Well, now we're upset. Give us our Stargate. So when you give us this other bullshit slop in the future, we're all going to be ready for it because we love Stargate. It's not that. No. They're going to be very, very, they're going to be seeing their dollars go out the window the day that they launch the Stargate, and it's all a completely new reimagining. And maybe there's some people out there that want that, but I truly believe there's a whole lot more people that don't, a whole lot more. And there was some YouTuber said it, I can't remember who it was, but they said it perfectly. It was, and I'll try and find it and put their name here. But they said, why, like the perfect advertisers, basically, I think there's probably a lot of people said it this way in similar ways. The perfect advertisers for your show is going to be the fans, the ones that are already fans of it. The new generation you're looking for, guess who's going to tell them to come watch the show? The old generation, the ones that are already into it. You and I, the moment a new Stargate drops that we're into, we're telling all our friends, aren't we?
Yeah, dude, if I find something, if something like that catches my attention and I love it, I'll buy like 15 or 20 copies of it to give it to everybody.
You do shit like that. Yeah. Yeah. You're like, just like I got that the Guild, box set from you and like complete series box set. And
something I got like that I can support the creator. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you were supporting the Guild
to spend a bunch of money.
And you had me like find a new thing I was really into. Yeah, the Guild is great. And here comes the movie. That's going to be awesome. That's really cool.
I'm super excited about it.
Yeah. So yeah, we're fans of the Guild. That was a great show, and a group of gamers, playing online, but then what they're doing in real life, and it was a great little web series that kind of became more than just a little web series. I think it's kind of the little web series it could kind of, and they got some big names, and that did the season where they're at the convention. I love that season. But yeah, they've got a movie coming, so they got a Kickstarter going too. Right.
Yeah.
To help
starts July 20th.
July 20th. There you go. So, so we even we know the date to tell you, July 20th. Go support the Guild Kickstarter because, those are the kinds of projects we want to support. Like, those who are doing things because they're passionate. Like you can tell everyone that is on the Guild, like really enjoys being a part of the Guild. Like when they post that they're doing these things, like each one of the people on the Guild, like all of the different actors and actresses, they're all like so excited and posting from their personal, like, go, it's coming, guys, it's coming, because I do feel like it was probably one of those things that felt special to be a part of. I remember thinking it was awesome they got Will Wheaton in that. And then I watched an interview recently with what's the lead actress's name?
Felicia Day.
With Felicia and Will Wheaton. And they're sitting there talking in front of a live audience, and Will pretty much gives Felicia her flowers in reestablishing his career as an actor. And that's a big thing because, after that, he started doing, fucking Big Bang Theory and shit. You know what I mean? Not that Will Wheaton wasn't already established from back in the day with Stand By Me and everything else that he came from as a child actor, but getting to have that spark, reignite again later in life as an adult actor, coming from the Guild, and a lot of people don't know. Like I didn't know that till I saw that interview. I was like, that's really cool. So
I just assumed he had always been doing stuff.
I mean, I'm sure he was, but I'm sure it's like with anything, like people say, Brendan Fraser, where you been, man? We missed you. And he comes back with The Whale and it gets all these awards. And it's like, well, Brendan Fraser's like, I've been around. I've been doing shit. And there's all kinds of stuff he did that people didn't see because Hollywood didn't push him in the same way. The machine wasn't pushing him the same anymore because he spoke out against some injustices. And it's like, well, that happens. That happens to people. It doesn't mean when they go, where you been? He's like, I've still been around. Like he's making movies and now he's getting attention again. And it's great. There are new Mummies coming. Like I'm all for it. Like that's awesome. I think Brendan Fraser's a great actor. Encino Man back in the day, that was great. But
I just rewatched The Mummy not too long ago. I love those movies.
So good. I did too. I rewatched it recently. It's crazy that movie's that good. It's modern day Indiana Jones. And I loved Indiana Jones. So for me, it was, that was my thing as a kid. But he was the Indiana Jones of the 90s.
Yep.
And Brendan Fraser's such a nice guy. He seems like a genuinely nice guy. I just feel
nice people.
Yeah. I think, one of those things, those projects he was doing that people didn't pay attention to was, or maybe some people are, is Doom Patrol. And it's because you don't see his face as much. He's doing the voice of the guy behind the big iron mask. Like he becomes like almost like a inside an iron robot, like an iron giant. Like his brain and consciousness is inside this iron giant kind of thing. But you have flashbacks of him in real life, his real life person, and then you see the mechanical like dude walking around, and it's like Brendan Fraser inside it, and it's like Doom Patrol was fucking awesome. Like, and I think I don't know if it got enough flowers, but Brendan Fraser's been doing shit. That being said, we're going to roll on to another thing. I wonder how long we've been going. We're going to try and do an hour. We're going to try and keep these things around an hour usually. Let's see. We touched on a lot of things so far. We did look at the GTA cover art. We didn't look at the little cityscape, but we don't have to look at that today. Everybody's seen it. I'll put it on the screen. I'll show you later, but it's a shot of like the city, but we can look at the trailer. You want to look at the trailer?
Sure.
Let's do that. We'll pull up the trailer real quick. All right, let's see what we got here. I mean, the textures look good. It's going to visually look good. It's in Florida. I do feel like I'm in Florida.
Yeah, it looks good.
It actually looks really good. He looks good.
He looks shiny.
The thing we have to remember is this is all trailer. We're not seeing much gameplay. Like it makes me wonder like how it's going to play, how it's going to feel when you're driving around, all that. I feel like these days anyone can do really good cinematics. I know I'm sure everybody's hyped when they watch this stuff. When I see the trailers for GTA, I don't get too hyped until I start seeing like the real gameplay footage. Especially in a lot of games these days, they'll show you AI crap. You know what I mean? And it's not even going to be in the game. It was just some AI assets they used to promote. Like that was a big ordeal recently with a couple games. Yes.
Wow.
There was like some of the recent game announcements, game showcases on YouTube. Everybody picked it apart and was like, even literally asked them, was like, hey, was this made with AI assets pretty much? And it's not real. And they're like, yeah.
That's so stupid.
Yep. It's happening.
Do they think that we won't notice?
They think by the time the game comes out, you won't care.
Fuck that.
And it's like you promoted something and got me excited for something and then bait and switched me. You gave me something else. Like you gave me something that first of all was made with AI. So it wasn't even really made with your human artist and told me you guys as human artists are making a game. And then later you're going to give me something that's completely different of what you were selling. This is all that should be illegal for like false advertising almost. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like just like if Arby's shows me a giant fucking roast beef that's stacked, so high that it could get on most roller coasters actually.
If you roll that back like 20 seconds to the last character that talked, is that Maddie Matheson?
I think that might have been. Dude, was that Maddie? We need to look that up. I think so. It sounded a little bit like him too. We'll have to look into that, but that's great. What I was saying is with any of that, it didn't show me a single bit of gameplay. It didn't show me a car driving down a street being chased. It didn't show me, you getting your wanted level up or what the weaponry will be or any of those things. And they like to hide behind the mystery of it. I mean, from what I understand,
that's one of the big reasons that I don't buy new games anymore.
Yeah. Apparently, when they drop just the cover art for the game, apparently there's a thing now. You can make a YouTube video that's just you unveiling the cover art for the game and it gets 4 million views in seconds. Like it was like no time. It was like just a few hours at over 4 million views and they're just showing you the cover art. Just post a picture online. You don't need a video for that. Mm-hmm. I get why they would do it. I mean, everybody is going to, of course it's going to get the clicks. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We're going to have to go back to fun topics because everybody's going to think we're haters. We're not haters, but there's a lot of.
It's so easy to be a hater though, because everybody's doing stupid stuff.
Everybody is doing stupid stuff, but there's people doing good things out there too. And we can talk on some of that. There's some YouTubers out there crushing it in the world.
I still really want to go back and play some more Expedition 33.
That game did very well. That game won a lot of awards. It was very fun. I do need to play more of that. Yeah. I've got a little gameplay on the channel, but really I kind of just played for a few hours. I didn't really continue ever. It was like one really long session or two. I need to play that again because I really like that game. It's very Final Fantasy, old school RPG. Like I really liked the art style, the music. It was a beautiful game.
God, the music is beautiful.
I can understand why it won so many awards for sure. There's a lot of there's some YouTubers out there killing it right now. Not on YouTube though, in other ways, and I do want to touch on this. YouTubers breaking into movies and the movie world.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there's several that have done it. There's 2 that are in movie theaters right now that are made by YouTubers, and there's one that came previously from Markiplier. Was it Markiplier? Yeah, Markiplier made a movie. I used to watch his old Subnautica footage. That's how I first got into him. Good on him. He crushed it. I think, what was his new movie's name? Was it called Iron Lung? Did you hear about that movie?
No.
Markiplier seems like a pretty good dude. I've been Iron Lung, a science fiction. We should check that. We should watch that one day. A science fiction horror film based on the 2022 indie video game by David Szymanski. So yeah, fully financed, written, directed, and self-distributed by Markiplier himself, the YouTuber himself. Yep,
that's
cool. It did insane numbers. Like we're talking. That's the thing I'm wanting to talk about. Not just YouTubers breaking into movies. The biggest movies right now are made by YouTubers and not by Hollywood. They're outperforming Hollywood.
That's so easy to believe because the only shit coming out of Hollywood is shit. Yeah. It's just more slop
for the most part. Yeah, that's a good point.
It's Disney trying to cash in and everybody else following their example.
According to Wikipedia, the reception for Iron Lung went as follows. As of May 2nd, 2026, Iron Lung had grossed $41.1 million in the US and Canada and $10.1 million in other territories for a total of $51 million, 51.2. The film's budget was widely reported as $3 million or less. But Fishbach has denied this, describing it instead as a little over 4 million or just under 5. But still,
oh my God, who cares if it's 5 million
and made 50 and it was made by a YouTuber? It's so this is Wikipedia for you. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of pulling from it. But,
so it was 3 to 5 million to make the movie, and he made 50 plus.
Yes,
that's awesome
in like a very short period of time. Good on you, Markiplier. That's amazing. I loved watching that guy Subnautica playthroughs back in the day. And then he had some other crazy YouTube channel. He did this crazy experiment one time for YouTube. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen a YouTuber do. Him and another YouTuber teamed up and kind of almost made, it was almost like a little game show kind of thing where for an entire, like, it was like a month or it was a long time. They built a YouTube to the point that it had like it was a very big YouTube channel they grew. And they grew it was the two of them as a collab, right? And they grew this YouTube channel. It had so much amazing content. It was really creative, funny things they did. And it built up to this like really big finale ending kind of thing where right towards the end, they deleted and nuked the entire channel. It was all one experiment. You had to be there for it. You had to see it then. And I was lucky enough to watch some of it before they nuked the channel and be like, this is amazing. This is really good content. And that was all Markiplier, like just collabing with another YouTuber. And I just always thought that was really cool too. But he looks like he's still thinking outside the box and growing in other ways. And I think that's awesome. Right now, that came out a couple months ago or whatever, right? Right now in theaters, there's 2 more movies made by YouTubers that are crushing it. One is called Obsession. I don't know if you've heard of this movie. It's made by a YouTuber. It's huge in theaters right now. It's one of the biggest horror thriller kind of movies. Pretty crazy concept for a movie. And then basically it seems like the whole premise, and I don't think I'm giving anything away here because I haven't even seen it. But the premise from what I understand is a guy makes a wish that some chick will fall in love with him. Well, it's like a weird monkey's paw kind of thing where he should have been careful what he wished for. She does fall in love with him, but she becomes obsessed with him to the point like he's waking up at night and she's staring at him. It gets creepy. It gets to the point where she's like, it's not even her. It's like some demon inside her kind of thing or something. I don't know. But whatever it was, because it's some kind of crazy movie like that. Apparently it's crushing it. And then also there's another movie. And have you heard of The Backrooms?
No.
Well, it's kind of like this internet phenomenon. There were like these videos would surface on the internet. I don't really know all of it, the whole story behind it, but there was like this, the myths or the legends of the back rooms where it's like these weird, like abandoned offices or like you're walking through abandoned buildings and it just, everything feels eerie and surreal and the lighting and everything kind of all plays into this thing. And it's called The Backrooms. I think there was a video game made around it. And it was just kind of this internet phenomenon. And this is the best way I understand it. I could be wrong in explaining it. There's a movie now that's come out around it. You know what I mean? Made by a YouTuber. And I just think that that's really cool. Like good on them. Started from the bottom. Now we're beating Hollywood in theaters. I think that's cool.
That's good. Because Hollywood's not giving us anything good.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know if there's any other YouTubers you want to shout out. I wanted to shout out YouTubers that were, I don't know what's been catching your attention. Obviously the algorithm's full of all kinds of crazy Reckless Ben stuff for me and then Save Stargate stuff. But that right there, I just wanted to highlight some people taking and growing their passion to such great heights. I think that's awesome.
My YouTube watching is in the like gardening and homesteading corner of YouTube.
Yeah, you've been growing your own veggies and fruits and stuff. Yep, you've been rocking that. You bought a house recently, so you were able to have a little
finally able to do stuff that I've always wanted to do.
Yeah, you got a little garden you're going. So I think that's awesome. Yeah, man, I love seeing the updates each day, and like you sent me today. You were out there this morning. You had what do they call that stuff you put over?
Shade cloth.
Shade cloth. Yeah.
Yes, to keep the sun from burning my tomatoes up.
Gotcha. Hell yeah. we'll have to play some Farming Simulator on the channel. I've always seen that game advertised. I've never played it. Maybe we'll have to.
We know somebody that plays that.
Do you? It's crazy, man. So the thing is, video games, when I got to a certain point, at first, I remember laughing at all the different simulators, and now I get it because I like playing games and just being a goofy fucker. And when you're playing a simulator like Mechanic Simulator or House Flipper or all these different like insane simulation games that Goat Simulator, like all these different things, it's like, it makes sense.
Goat Simulator is the best one.
Of course. Yeah. That's pretty good. I've been wanting to play Squirrel with a Gun.
I haven't seen that one.
It's in our library. We can play it and install it and play it one day.
Yeah.
That might be a fun one to take turns playing. Play it on the channel as like a one-off.
Yeah. Have you played Untitled Goose Game?
That's been on the backlog. We do have that game.
Yeah.
Isn't that multiplayer also?
I don't know.
I think there's a co-op or a two-player.
That's one that I really like to play on the Steam Deck.
We should play that co-op if it's possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, other things going on. I may as well touch on the schedule for the channel a little bit. Obviously this is new, and by the time this podcast comes out, we should be 2 weeks into like pretty much posting every day. And that involves Split Fiction. Obviously by this point, I think the first 2 episodes should be out. And that's been fun as hell. You and I watched the 3rd episode yesterday back. It's all done and edited, or a couple days ago, 2 days ago.
I've been having a lot of fun playing that game and watching that game.
Yep. And I'm about to edit episode 4, which I think is always going to be probably my personal favorite. And you know why. I don't want to spoil it, but you know why that one is fun for me. I'm excited to edit that one. So that one will be coming out towards the end of the month, episode 4. So trying to do our Split Fiction playthrough where it releases one a week, and then trying to do Abiotic Factor that way as well. Mine and Cameron's playthrough on it. I've got 2 episodes done and edited and exported and already sitting on the channel waiting. Actually, by the time they're already out by the time this podcast comes out. So on top of that, you should have seen a lot of other things posted. You should have seen our Cursed Halo has come back. Obviously, like I said earlier in the podcast, we're playing some more of that today after the podcast. And then I've got other things like Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. We mentioned it in the episode 1 of the podcast, but you've now seen some of the edit on it, and we're gonna. I think we've decided not to make that a one-off, right?
Yeah, I could play that forever.
Yeah, it's fun. And when we realize all the other features and functionality,
man. Is there workshop support for that?
There's got it.
Man, if you can mod that, yeah.
Dude, we need to look into seeing what if the communities come around. That's the other thing about Steam. Steam Workshop is amazing. And we didn't touch on this earlier when we were telling people who don't know about Steam, go check out Steam. But like the support, the open functionality for games where they generally allow for the community to come together and make their own content for games, right? Mm-hmm. This isn't something you see a lot on consoles. So if you're not a PC gamer, you may not be aware of one of the coolest things about Steam gaming. And it's that we can play things like Cursed Halo. If you go on the channel and see the Cursed Halo, or even when we're playing Elden Rejects, that's us playing Elden Ring, but we're using, that's not necessarily Steam Workshop. That's a different mod.
It's the same concept,
but it's the same concept. It's the community making content for a game, and the developer doesn't try to shut them out from that. They embrace that generally. Ark used to have a great community for that. I know a lot of the survival games have a really good workshop communities, and it makes games have endless content. I mean, endless content. You can.
Sometimes they roll those the mods or workshop things into the full game too after some time.
They do eventually. But yeah, the Ark community was one of them that I remember seeing, like when they did the storage, some of the storage Structures Plus. Exactly. You remember Structures Plus was one of the things that later became embraced by the developer and became part of the main game because the community made something so great that worked so well with the game that they go, well, this needs to be in our, how can this not be in the main game? We are literally losing out. The game is losing out by not having this feature. Mm-hmm. So that's one amazing thing about buying games on the Steam marketplace. And I think one of the advantages they have is that ability to modify and have for ROM games, you have to hack a game. You have to take the original code and change it to be able to release something new that's in an old game format. Like when you see people playing these crazy Super Mario World levels, or, you know, the hacks of Zelda and even Metroid. Like I think about Super Nintendo, but there's a lot of them. N64's got a lot of these hacks. There's a lot of where people will hack a cartridge game or a console game. It's a little different. This is like, when the game comes out, it pretty much has open support for the community to be able to, they don't have to hack anything. The tools are there and openly and readily available and embraced for the community to step in and go, hey, wouldn't it be cool if the characters could have these outfits? Or wouldn't it be cool if the characters could ride on a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and it's a game that doesn't have a Tyrannosaurus Rex? They can do that. Like you can be right. I've seen crazy mods for like GTA where they make the entire city flooded, or...
Man. My favorite one that I've ever seen so far is an Elden Ring mod that turns the Tree Sentinel into Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh my God, of course. That's frightening.
That's the funniest shit I've ever fucking seen.
That's kind of like some Choo Choo Charles stuff right there. Like the Nightmare Thomas the Train stuff. Also makes me think of, I can't think of Thomas the Train anymore without thinking of Bullet Train. What a great movie.
Yeah, love that movie.
I was listening to we're really into the Neebs Gaming, and I was listening to the Neebs Gaming podcast, their most recent Neebs cast, and they bring up that movie. Neebs does, and he's trying to tell everybody else how good Bullet Train is, and they're all like, I don't know, because one of them watched 15 minutes of it and didn't get to finish it, and I'm like, Neebs, I'm with you, dude. That movie is great. Yeah, it's a good
amazing
one. It's
one of the best that's come out lately.
I mean, me and my brother saw it in theaters, and it was awesome because it was one of those things where when we walked out of it, we went. That's why movie theaters exist, for that experience. It was so fun walking out of there and going, wow, we just saw something. It just felt like a great movie. It felt like what I remember that feeling of when I was a kid and seeing Jurassic Park in theaters for the first time. Or I remember seeing so many like really iconic movies in theaters, and now that experience is not really there as much. I notice that's the other thing. Apparently theater etiquette has dropped to an all-time low because from what I understand, it's gotten to a point that if you do go to a packed theater, you have a lot of the younger generations, and I'm not trying to shit on anybody or say everybody's like this, but that now a lot of the younger generation doesn't understand how movie theater etiquette works, and they are used to talking out loud during the movie or being a little more obnoxious maybe than you're supposed to be, as opposed to be quiet and just kind of hang to yourself. You know what I mean?
I don't like to go to movie theaters.
Yeah.
Now I really don't want to go to movie theaters. Imagine starting to see
like the phone flash screen on, and you could out of the corner of your eye, you just see somebody like flipping through TikTok, or, someone running around.
Just thinking about it, I hate it.
Run around screaming. What's the one from Minecraft? Apparently they would blow up in Minecraft. All the Minecraft kids,
creepers.
They would freak out in the movies. There's been this phenomenon where all the kids would go to the movie theaters, see Minecraft, and it's the chicken jockey. And there's some part where the fucking little baby zombie rides the chicken in the movie, and then everybody would flip out, and you literally see people throwing their pop. The mess that the people work at the theater have to clean up, I feel bad for, because these kids go so crazy. They're throwing their popcorn. They have one kid will be on one shoulder. They're running around. So they're all recreating the chicken jockey where one of them gets on the other shoulder. They're throwing popcorn around and drinks. And probably anybody that is 20 years or younger that's listening to me right now just unsubscribed, and I'm sorry. But that's not, like, there might be people that came there to see the movie, and they can't rewind. It's not like when we watch YouTube videos or watch streaming, where if you miss something and you want to know what happened, you can rewind. Someone paid for that movie experience, and you stole some of that from them. Now the Minecraft thing's a little different. They're all hanging out in the theater. Like, it's probably mainly a group of kids that's all they went to do that for. So, there's always kind of been that thing. I think Rocky Horror Picture Show is that group of people that they always kind of had their own little like etiquette for watching that movie, where it was encouraged that people sang along to certain bits of the movie or parts of the movie. And there's certain things you do at this time of the movie. Like, I get that, right? If a movie has a cult following and everybody's like, oh, this is what we do at this time. So Minecraft kind of has that.
I look at that different than going to the movies and seeing a brand new movie.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying I'm not shitting on the kids who did the chicken jockey stuff in the Minecraft or whatever that's all about. Cause I'm not a part of that, but I get why they're doing that, right? It's the same thing that everybody did with Rocky Horror Picture Show. And there are other movies there's a similar thing. I get that. What I don't appreciate is if obnoxious and more so like just unappreciative like behavior towards those around you. You know, if you're just going to ruin an experience for someone in any movie, like, then that is a problem. And that's, in an era where we're trying to save movies, that's, and movie theaters, you want the experience to live on a little bit.
I would go to movies. I would go to movies more if I thought it would be the experience that I wanted, which is not screens lit up around me and not people talking while the movie's rolling.
You're used to me, like if we watch stuff here and hang out and like I can pause it, I'll pause a million times so we don't miss something and I'll back it up.
That's perfectly fine to me. I have no problem with that.
It's like, what YouTubers do.
You can't do that at the movies.
They're doing commentary on when these channels are doing reaction videos and they pause a lot. I do that just hanging out with you. At least you don't like get tired of me pausing because I'm like, oh, I'm sorry I paused, but also I got to tell you this. This is that actor from this movie over here. Like, we really should have just a movie podcast because the amount of like between you and I, what was it we watched the other day? And you and I were seeing so many, Can't Hardly Wait, was it?
Yeah.
There were so many people in it. And even, we've been watching a lot of classics, like movies that maybe Matt hadn't seen that I have seen. And I'd be like, oh, this one is iconic. You need to check it out. One of them we watched last night was Nothing to Lose. And it has, it has Chicken Man from Breaking Bad. It has, what's his name?
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah. He was in Nothing to Lose. And I've seen, that movie came out in 97. I never knew he was in it. I knew that John C. McGinley or whatever from Scrubs, I knew he was in it an early time, an early acting role for him, but I didn't know Chicken Man was in it. I didn't know he was in that. I know him from Breaking Bad and everything since then. They put him right on the cover of Far Cry.
He was in Once Upon a Time also.
He was. I thought he had a good role in that. I've seen something else with him recently too. He's a great actor. I just never knew he was in that movie. Nothing to Lose. That had Martin Lawrence at his height, Tim Robbins. Great movie. But we watched that and it's like, there's a lot of movies that I don't think you and I will pause and be like, hey, there's that and that, You can't really do that in a movie theater. There's a certain etiquette that comes with, hey, people paid. They're here for the experience of the movie together on the big screen because there's something different.
This is the place where everybody wants to do this one thing. Yeah. So don't distract.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody here came to watch the movie. They bought a ticket for the movie. They didn't buy a ticket for you put the popcorn bucket on your head and run around like a fool, farting on everyone or whatever it is that,
Yeah. Also take a shower.
You stanky, this has been
drink some water.
Yeah. This has been the Thirsty Joe Gaming's rules for movie theater experiences. But we've been watching some fun movies though lately. Yeah. We have been. And Something About Mary, we went back and watched that recently.
Amazing.
Right. That's a classic.
Yep.
You want to know a good comedy, just go watch that movie. And even that one had a lot of people in it that, I didn't realize. I love seeing Harlan Williams and stuff. He made a lot of cameos back then. But there was something else. There's something else I was going to talk about on the movie front of it. We're getting close. We're wrapping up a full episode. I think it's actually gone better than I thought it would. It really just does feel like you and I just talking,
Yeah.
This is the shit we talk about anyway.
It really is. It's getting close to time for a sandwich.
Yes, French dips. That's one thing we talk about.
French dips.
You've been farming. I've been cooking a whole lot for sure. I know you've been cooking too.
Man, I can't wait until we make a BLT with one of my tomatoes. I got all my stuff in the ground late, so
I made a mean ass BLT recently. So yeah, that was without your tomatoes. So you grow some really good tomatoes. I'll definitely start incorporating that. I'll put the picture up of the BLT I made recently, and I'll put a picture up of the garden that Matt's been doing, because I got pictures of his garden. It's awesome. Just a little cropped in picture of that. But we had some good tacos the other day that were dope.
Oh my God, those shells were incredible. They're better than any Dorito I've ever had.
Hell yeah. Yeah. At a certain point, things just got too expensive in the real world for food. So I just started cooking more at home, and it's a lot better. I
started growing food.
Yeah.
Next year, this year is the training wheels garden. Next year is going to be the big garden.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop going to the grocery.
Nice. You are the grocery.
Yeah. I expect to have way too much for myself. So all of my friends are getting gifts.
Hell yeah. And think about how good you're going to be at Farming Simulator when you finally play.
Yeah.
You got the real world experience, but yeah, we're going to work that into some of our...
I can be a VR farmer too.
Hell yeah. You pretty much could. Yeah, there you go. Let's see if there's anything else I didn't touch on. Oh, here's one. This does get kind of it's not even off topic. It's still kind of somewhat on topic. Movies, right?
Mm.
But still in gaming and PlayStation world. I'll pull it up on screen, or I know I had like a screenshot of this I took on my phone I could show you. But apparently the PlayStation Store is removing... This just came out, and of course, it isn't the first time this happened, but another reason why physical media matters, okay? PlayStation Network is removing a bunch of people's movies they've already bought.
Oh, yeah,
off their catalog. It's happening again.
They've been doing that shit
for years. It's happening again. This time, this week or whatever, it's Studio Canal movies. And I had a screenshot of some of those. We could pull it up. 551 movies from customers' accounts is leaving. You bought it. You paid for it. But now you have nothing to show for that payment, right? When your friend comes over, finally gets in town, he's been out of town, he's been at college all year, and you're like, man, when he gets in town, we're going to watch his movie I bought. It was so good. I only got to watch it once, but I've been waiting. So he gets, I'm going to show it to him. Guess what? When he gets in town, you guys turn on that PlayStation, that movie ain't there. If you had if you'd have bought that, spent the same money usually, or similar, if you're a patient movie buyer, just like a patient gamer, you can find a deal and pay that same amount you paid for the digital and have it physical.
Yep.
Almost every time.
Or cheaper. Much cheaper usually.
So it says, reminding us nothing digital is ever truly ours. This is Kotaku, which I have my issues with Kotaku, but something like this, they're going to be pretty close to the truth on the reporting, I'd say. But yeah, movies like Rambo First Blood, Bridget Jones' Diary, The Deer Hunter, all being unceremoniously removed. Sony is contacting PlayStation Store users who bought movies from the platform that were distributed by Studio Canal, like Terminator 2, one of my favorites of all time. Mm-hmm. Total Recall, another good Schwarzenegger movie. Chick has 3 boobies in it. That was something that stood out to me as a teenage kid when I saw it.
We're about to have 3 shooty boobies.
Yeah, exactly. And Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, to say that you will no longer be able to access your previously purchased content from Studio Canal, and it will be removed from your video library. Yep. No mention of refunds or make goods or anything like that for the affected users.
Well, no, they're going to wait for everybody to get angry, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, here you go.
Yep.
Idiots. Stupid, selfish, greedy. Well,
it's not greedy. They're just, they're due to the content licensing agreements. This is how business works. It's not greed.
Well, everything's so locked down with that DRM and stuff. Like, they can't just be like, okay, here, you bought this. Here's your digital file. Copy it as you wish.
It should be yours to have and to use however you...
They want it locked down so that when stuff like this happens, they can take it back.
Very good point. When you buy or rent So I don't care what platform it is. I don't care if it's Hulu, Netflix, HBO, Amazon, Apple TV, any of them.
Kindle.
If you buy a digital movie, you should have the option when you go to play it to download it to whatever your device is, and to be backupable on any other device forever in perpetuity until the end of time.
Yep.
Because that's how physical works. And if you're trying to sell me on this notion that this new technology is somehow superior to an old technology, you have to first of all be able to give me everything the old technology did, then some.
Yep.
One of the things the old technology gave me was when I bought something, I owned it.
Mm-hmm. And I could back it up if I wanted to.
So in a world where buying doesn't mean owning, then stealing isn't piracy. And there's a lot of people, that are going to debate that. But if me giving you the money to buy something, you can later just take it away at your own whim. They do it with games now too. They do it with games. Look at The Crew.
Steam even said that.
Yes. If what you buy can just be taken away, then if buying isn't ownership, then stealing it isn't piracy.
Yeah. I have no problem.
Because there's no way to own it otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some games now that you can only pirate if you want to play it. There's movies and stuff, movies and TV shows that if you want it, you're going to have to pirate it.
I'm someone who's all for preservation. I don't like someone's art being lost to time. I don't like someone who spent a lot of time working on something, days, weeks, months, sometimes years of their life, locked in a small room, working on a video game or working on a movie or whatever it is, and their art be lost to time. And some of these game companies, all they care about is their bottom line, and they don't care about it being preserved to time. You know what I mean? And there are things now that we only have because people did make an archive or a library and back something up before it got destroyed forever. You know what I mean? And some of these things, that's the reason my theory will always be that they want you playing whatever's the newest, biggest, greatest thing. And that's why they're so preserving the old stuff. They just want you playing whatever they're selling you now, but later they don't want you playing that thing. They want you to forget that thing in 5 minutes with your ADD brain or whatever and go on to the next thing.
Yeah. Or if you're Nintendo, you want your faithful fan base to keep paying for the same game over and over again.
Yeah, Nintendo's really bad about that, but let's not forget we had a long discussion about Campaign Evolved.
Yeah. Or Halo
Falling
Studios.
into the same thing.
Yeah,
so it's
doing
not
the
just
same
Nintendo.
thing.
But yes, Nintendo's horrible about it. They just re-released Star Fox 64. Star Fox 64 has been re-released multiple times. They couldn't give you any new campaign all these years later still. And I don't know. Maybe it's fun. I'm sure it's fun. It is. I love Star Fox 64.
Same argument as Halo though.
But I would have loved a new great Star Fox adventure. But the problem is the creativity is no longer applauded. Creativity is shoved aside to make way for profitability. And that's the problem with a lot of what I see happening in the gaming industry. It's not even about, that's why these indie games suddenly come out of nowhere and blow up. And I can't even include Expedition 33 as one of those because they came from a bigger company and kind of branched off. I'm talking about like these small games made by one or two people that blow up so big that it's the biggest game that anyone's talking about. And it is a real indie game, not these games that are like shoved at us that they're indie games, but they really have a big budget, because those exist too. And that's a problem. A lot of these games are trying to get indie awards or indie acknowledgement, and they're promoted as being indie, but they really have a big company sets up a small company under its umbrella and it gives them a bunch of money to make something indie. That's not an indie.
No, that's a lie.
So you have a lot of that going on. I don't know. Just thought it was interesting. Something we should talk about how, because you and I both are both big physical collectors. I have a really pretty massive, selection of DVD and Blu-ray to pick from. And I would have never been able to afford that if I'd have bought them when they first came out. I was patient. I waited till I found them for $1 at a yard sale or a Goodwill, or, you know, when everybody was selling their shit because they're going to streaming and they're like, I don't care about physical no more. Yeah, you can have it 50 cents or $1. I'd be the one buying it, because to me, having it forever was more important than having it for a little bit more, maybe a little more conveniently. I don't have to pop in a disc. I can just load it up. But guess what? It might be gone.
I still use streaming. It has its place.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah, I do. I do too. It has its place. I don't use Amazon anymore after Stargate got canceled.
Yeah, Amazon can suck toes.
I've been watching more Apple TV lately, but, you know, Netflix as well.
All the good stuff that I love, I want on physical so I can have it forever.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think people think that if you're a physical collector, that means you're anti-streaming. I am not. I have a very large movie and TV collection. I still use streaming all the time. It's not that I'm anti-streaming. It's the anti-consumer practices that are wrapped all up in streaming often that I don't like. Yep. And the inability that if you buy something, like, you know, you have these services like where and that's what drove me nuts sometimes about Amazon too. I'd have Amazon Prime and I'm sitting there flipping through what I think is the free videos. And instead they promote to me something I have to buy, I have to rent. And I have to go over to the separate tab that's for Prime Video. Well, I came to the Prime Video homepage, but you should have a separate tab for just the things I have to pay for, not force me down the funnel of the things I have to pay for. And that's what they did. It's all that kind of stuff.
Everything else with Amazon, they just want your money.
They do. They just want your money. I have a working theory that Amazon just wants to buy out all these IPs and ruin them just because they can, just because they have some agenda greater than making money and doing a great service in the streaming world for offering you a great Prime, you know, setup for your video streaming. Like, I feel like they actually don't care about giving you good content, and they care more about pushing whatever agenda that certain people want to push that have the money to push it. Like, that's what I'm starting to feel, because
makes sense.
Because I don't see them making any wise decisions for actually putting out good content like Stargate. Stargate.
Or Rings of Power or Wheel Time. I mean, just the list goes on.
I don't know, man. I will say this, though. This is so off topic, but Amazon did have a show I really liked before I canceled my subscription. And that's one thing I like about Amazon is they do have a lot of worldwide, like, international shows I could see. You know, a lot of the streaming networks do that well, but one of them they have that's in every country was the Last One Laughing or Last Man Laughing or whatever. And that comic show where they put all the comedians in a room and they all have to try to make each other laugh, but they're trying not to laugh. That is the Canadian version, and the UK versions especially were great. And I know that
was great.
Yeah, you and I watched the Canadian version with Tom Green
and Colin Mockery.
Trevor K. Wilson or whatever, the dude from Letterkenny, he was on it. You had Matt Foley from Kids in the Hall. It's like all these comedians, and they're thrown into a room. Jay Baruchel was the host, which I thought was cool. And they're all thrown into a room, and then they are in this room for like several until one man's left, basically. And they're trying to make the others laugh. And it's just pure chaos. And I just wish we had an American version of that.
Yep.
Like,
that would be funny.
Like, don't you?
But it can't be like politically picked comedians, though.
Yeah. Right now,
it has to be the real funniest people.
The problem is right now, even America's so divided, even our comedians are divided. America's so divided.
They've got us so chopped up, it's crazy.
Yeah, you can't just be a comedian anymore. You have to be either a left or a right comedian. You can't just be this anymore. You have to be a left or a right. You know what I mean? It's everything anymore.
We're not allowed to be ourselves anymore. We have to be divided.
So I don't subscribe to any of that or either of those sides. I just float through where I can, man. But I thought that was some, interesting stuff to talk about. I don't know. The fact that they keep removing and that we don't see it getting any better. Like, they should, some of these issues with the digital content and owning it, they have to fix this shit. The problem is the people who have the power to change these laws and the ones in courts that make these decisions, this stuff's over their head. They don't even understand really what it all entails and means. And it's just so much to try to get the proper support behind stopping someone like Ubisoft from selling a game to everybody called The Crew, or many of these other games. That's just one example, but The Crew or Crew 2, I think, is one of the best examples of it, where they come out with this game and then literally, like, you cannot play it. It doesn't exist anymore. They took the game away. It doesn't exist, but you paid for it. It was in your library one day. It was gone the next. Like, that is messed up. And they do it.
Destiny.
And the problem, yeah, but here's the problem. And you will have some people like playing devil's advocate, and they'll say, yes, but you can't expect a company in perpetuity, like forever, to have to keep servers going forever, because that's not sustainable. That. But that's not in the language of the proposition for the Stop Killing Games. That's not in that legislature or in that language. Yet people who argue, they'll try to say, oh, you just don't know how things work and you want them to be able to run servers forever. No, we don't.
I'll run my own server, thanks.
From the way I understand the language to be is similar to that, where it's written in the language where at a certain point, if the company wants to abandon and not maintain the servers, then it is perfectly legal for the community to come up with their own server to keep things going. Like that should not be illegal. You know what I mean? It should be allowed. So it's just, that's in the language, I think, too. And it's just, obviously you and I we're not probably fully tapped in on what all's going on in that world, but I know enough of it to be like, Ubisoft and all these other companies, I go to them first because the way they treated Assassin's Creed over time, they ran that franchise in the ground too. It's just the way. There was one that was it them did the Skull and Bones, and it was like a real bait and switch on a pirate game that they did a couple years ago. There's just a lot of this like cash grab stuff going on in gaming that keeps me going back to the old retro classics sometimes, Yep. For sure. Anyway, I think we're about to wrap this fucker up. I'm going to double check, make sure there was anything. There was one thing I wanted to talk about that we didn't touch on that we have watched recently. I think this is about the last thing. Other things I can say for another day. But one thing we have been watching as well, I do want to give the nod to, if no one's ever seen it, is Duralius and Associates. If you've never watched that, is one of the greatest things on YouTube.
Oh my God, yes. That is the most amazing show. Second only to The Guild.
The Guild, yeah. So if you haven't seen, Neebs Gaming is a pretty big channel. They don't need us to promote them. But they, back in the day, like really almost before Neebs Gaming took off, they had this show called Duralius and Associates. And it's one of the funniest cartoons on YouTube. Just look it up. God, we watched that recently, and I had never finished it. I'd watched most of it, but I never finished it. We actually blasted through the whole thing. They made a supercut on the Neebs Gaming channel. It's so good. Yep. And I'm probably, amazing. Yeah, I'll put footage of funny moments on the screen as I talk about it here. But yeah, Duralius and Associates, amazing.
The Lady of the Lake is my favorite.
The lady. Oh, lady. And hey, I chose my character in Elden Rejects. The name is Murdon for a reason. It's a different Murdon, but it's inspired by the Duralius and Associates Murdon. If you want that little Easter egg there. Yeah. This is the sword, Duralius. Like it's totally like it's like a twig.
This is the Zephyr Blade.
This is the Zephyr Blade. It's a sandwich. It's like that was a biscuit, is what he says at one point. He's like, that was a biscuit. She's like, yes. Yes, yes, Doralian. He's like, it's DeLorean, yeah, Doralingus. Okay, so we could say here just quoting that forever, but go check out Duralius and Associates. We watched that. We also came out of that into Harmon Quest over on Crunchyroll. They have all the Harmon Quest seasons, and we've been powering through some of that, and that stuff's been fun to watch. I love seeing those D&D campaigns animated. I
think we're gonna have to come out of Harmon Quest into some Critical Role.
I am so down. I know it's one of the biggest D&D like games out there that people that's been put into entertainment form or media of some form like that. I know it's one of the biggest ones, and yet I've never really watched much of it, so I'm so down. We definitely need to do that.
I've seen their first 2 campaigns.
Okay.
I don't know how many they have now. They've also got Vox Machina that follows one of their campaigns.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Which is an animated thing.
Yes, yeah, that's what I thought. I've seen that advertised. That'd be cool to see. One other D&D thing that I really thought was cool, and it's part of another. It's another YouTube nod, but Corridor Crew, when they did their what did they call it? Where they took D&D and they ran it. They basically made a D&D like table set with all the dungeons, all the layout. They had the different floors. They basically built their arena. And then they 3D scanned it into Unreal Engine, and then they would record themselves after they played the campaign. They would go back and reenact the moments from their campaign in front of a green screen as their characters and put their characters into Unreal Engine to play out like visual, representations of how the campaign went. And it's so good. The production is so good. I actually subscribe to the Corridor Crew's like website. Like I love watching them for like video, like learning video stuff from them and production stuff. So I follow them anyway, but it was worth subscribing to Corridor Crew and the Corridor Digital or whatever on their website. It's worth it just for that show. It's great. I can't remember the name of it. I'll put it up on the screen. But yeah, their D&D campaign is amazing.
Hell yeah. I haven't seen that one.
We need to watch that.
Yep.
It is amazing the way they did it. It's so cool to watch. And those guys are pretty funny, so they have a good vibe. But yeah, other than that, anything else we want to get out there? This will be going up middle of the month, so we'll have a couple episodes out. It should be. Let's look at the schedule, right? I'd
say just stay tuned. We're just gonna be doing stuff.
That's right. Let's look at this. Look at that schedule.
Yep. Woo. That's packed.
So looking at this packed schedule, the day this comes out should be right here. That's probably Saturday the 18th. I have it marked right now.
Damn, so that's just 2 days before the Guild Kickstarter comes out.
Unless everything gets shifted back a week. Yes. So if that's the case, the Guild Kickstarter comes out in 2 days. Or 6 days after. Yeah. Depends on how I might shift everything a week depending on how much I get done in the next couple of days. But I'm going to try to have episode 1 of this podcast should be dropping like in a couple days. And then if so, this will come out 2 weeks later. Then from there, all podcasts should be about once a month. There's no specific schedule for it. It's going to drop when we feel comfortable about it, whenever we've done one and it's edited. But yeah, I'm going to shoot for around 1 a month if we can do that. This was fun.
Yeah.
This was an awesome way to do this. The setup feels natural.
Yeah, we just sat down and it flowed. I liked it.
Exactly. I'm going to have to there's going to be things I'm going to want to talk to you at times. And I'll be like, I got to save it for the podcast. I'm going to try to keep a good balance on that. Cause it was I wanted to talk to you about the Steam Machine stuff sooner. And I was like, that's a good thing to say for the thing, but that price is insane. $1,400 for a console. Anyway, if you're listening to this when it posts, tomorrow we should have, hopefully, if I'm doing Sunken Land, I should have Sunken Land episode 3 dropping. Abiotic Factor episode 3 is coming on Monday. Cursed Halo episode 5 should be coming, hopefully, or at least some form of Cursed Halo coming after that. Maybe Wreckfest this week. That was fun.
Wreckfest.
We talked about it in the last podcast. Hopefully that should be coming out this week. Finally putting out that footage of us playing that. And then, maybe some Elden Rejects and into our Friday split fiction like we like to do. So we got a lot of split fiction coming up. It's not just this month. We got months of split fiction until we finish the game. So that one's been really fun. And other than that, we got a big schedule. So by the time this goes up, you should see we've been pretty heavily posting, but we hope to continue that as best we can. We do have other things going on in our lives, but we might have another YouTube channel somewhere that's popping off for some of our trick shots that we haven't even discussed.
Yeah. Go watch that stuff.
Yeah. Maybe I'll link the channels. But we've got, I've got another channel where we're doing stuff too. So anyway, Guys, this has been great. Thanks for listening to the podcast. The Gamecast, Thirsty Gamecast. Is that what we're going to call it?
Sure. The Thirsty Pregame Cast?
Pre-game. That sounds too much. That sounds, I don't know.
Yeah.
Pre-game.
Yeah, there's too much
Because
alcohol loaded
people are going to
stuff.
listen to it before, and not following up with watching us play whatever game we're playing. You know what I mean? For us, it's pre-game because we're going to be gaming after this. But other people don't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, they do now. But you know what I mean? I think Thirsty Gamecast works.
Yep. That works.
Let us know in the comments what you think. If this is a terrible name for a podcast or a terrible podcast in general, let us know your thoughts, your feelings. We don't care. It all helps the algorithm. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna do another episode regardless. We had fun doing it, and that's why.
Yep.
We got a lot of games we're gonna bring you on the channel. A lot of fun stuff coming up. I want to get into Subnautica 2, but we'll talk about that another day. It's still in early access, so we got time. Anyway, I'm Thirsty Joe, and this is Thirsty Matt, Thirsty Bob Matt.
Solid Thirsty Matt Cat.
Yeah. Solid Thirsty Matt Cat. I'm Thirsty Joe, and this is Solid Thirsty Matt Cat, and well, we hope you had a good time with us today. We hope to see you on the next one. Have fun, like, and subscribe. Later.
See you later. Bye.